for marketers, engaging the government leader is just the start. You have to sustain that engagement and build a relationship with the brand where ultimately you, the leader, might be comfortable engaging with the brand staff like a subject matter expert on a podcast or like a sales team member, if that's where the conversation is. I mean, ultimately, that's the objective that the marketers want to achieve. But it does start with trust. So how can brands build their relationship with a government leader, and how can they keep trust over time? Suzette, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah. Sure. And it's a great question. It's one of the ones that I start or I answer almost with a really simple thing is results. Show results and results that were produced in a way that created not only a great outcome, but a good experience for the individuals who were involved. So the team that worked with that brand, the process, the people who are now living and working with whatever thing was implemented or deployed on an everyday basis. And when those things happen, you're building a high degree of trust. And one of the things that we spent a lot of time talking about, and I know Margaret and I would meet with companies and say this, and it was a little bit more important in the technology space, but it's important in every single space. When you bring something in as a vendor, it's your responsibility to make sure that the people who are then going to be living and working with that thing every day, they know it, they understand it. They understand, what the long-term life cycle is. And that's how we get the best results, long-term, for everyone involved. So I think as you seek to build trust, delivering results is important, but also being honest about what you're really good at and what you're not. I think some relationships have had some, really stubbed their toes and taken years and years to recover when they've reached too far or pushed too far, into something and not been, really open about whether that thing could be accomplished or not, and built the right, team around it. So it's a trust and honesty inside both the organization that's presenting an idea, but a partnership and teaming with those who are receiving it that goes beyond a single transaction. It goes through the duration of whatever the business process and those being served, how they interact with it.
That's right. Margaret, would you have anything to add there?
I think the one thing, and Suzette covered a lot of great ground there, the one thing I would also say it's important when talking about results to make sure that you're characterizing those results in the context of a public service mission, service, and stewardship, because an ROI, if it's the kind of ROI that works for a private sector company, is not going to resonate with public servants. They need to know this is going to hit the metrics around their mission. Does it help get, men and women back on the moon? Does it help us improve data quality in our health missions? Cost effectiveness for the taxpayer, really important, but also service. Can we, particularly in this kind of complex, fast-moving environment that we're in, can this easily be modified over time? There are a lot of solutions that get hardwired in government, and then they make it really difficult to change over time. That might seem like a good commercial strategy, but it is not one that engenders trust. And what I can say that is really important is our workforce is here for the long term in the public sector. So they will remember if a commercial entity put something in that wasn't in the long-term best interest of sustaining that mission and service and stewardship. And I know Suzette and I spent a fair amount of time where there were players that were probably making a pretty penny on, let's say, software licenses or other things that weren't really needed or weren't really keeping up. And future proofing and helping do that is how you build trust and sustainability for the long term.